So we're recording this right after the Dallas-Boston game on Friday night. The Celtics got the win in the Luka versus Tatum matchup. And this game, as well as some of the discourse we've saw in the past week about Jayson Tatum, it's just got us wondering, why does everyone seem to hate him?
I mean, I hate him because he plays for the Boston Celtics. Simple as that. But everyone else, I don't know. I mean, he's been to the playoffs so many times. He's performed multiple times. He's made all-star teams. But he cannot crack that MVP conversation.
Before we start talking about Jayson Tatum, if you haven't already, make sure to leave this video a like, give us a subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on one of our videos. So the Celtics-Mavericks game tonight, it went about as you'd expect. Luka had the better game, but Tatum got the win. And like I said in the intro, we've noticed just on Twitter over the past couple weeks that it seems like a lot of people don't really seem to like Jayson Tatum. Now, I need to put a big disclaimer out there. This video is not intended as what I've heard people term as the Tatum PR. As Ben mentioned in the intro, if you're a longtime viewer, first of all, thank you. But second of all, you'll know he has no love for the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, like I said, simple as that. That's why I don't really like him. But I actually don't mind Tatum as a player, as a person. You seem like you're more like neutral on the Celtics.
Yeah, I made a video on Tatum about a year ago, kind of asking the same question, like what he was missing. And it kind of just boiled down to, and I really hate to use this word because I hate when I see it on social media, but Tatum doesn't have any aura. He just doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like, he doesn't got that dog in him or whatever. His game isn't super, like, powerful or anything. Like, some of the other superstar level players we've seen in the past, like, they had that power, or they just had aura, or whatever you want to call it.
Finesse.
Yeah, I don't know what to call it. Tatum just doesn't have it.
So I just kind of want to get to the root of why people don't like Tatum. Because, I mean, on the surface, he kind of has everything you'd want. He's a great player. I think he's got a diverse and interesting game. He plays for a historic franchise. And, he actually plays most of his games in the modern NBA. It's kind of a rare thing. He's spoken out against load management. So, on the surface, I think he's got a lot. But let's get into why people don't seem to like him.
So I think the big reason out the bat, number one, people don't like the Boston Celtics, and they really don't like Celtics fans.
Yeah, Celtics fans, let's just say they regularly don't beat the allegations.
They almost never do.
Yeah, second of all, this kind of goes hand in hand with the first one, but Tatum has had, let's say, strong supporting casts for most of his career. I mean, he's played with Kyrie, Gordo, Kemba, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, Porzingis, Holiday. Like, some of those worked out, some of them didn't, but still, that's an impressive list of players to play with, all before you turn 26.
I mean, it's a rare case where he was a top 3 pick and didn't go to a rebuilding team because Danny Ainge just completely fleeced the Nets. So, yeah, really good supporting cast, and especially this year, he's getting hit with that criticism a lot because their starting 5 is stacked. Just straight up. He's been great, but that starting 5 is insane.
Yeah, and I can see if you're a fan of like another NBA superstar like, say, a Damian Lillard. It could certainly be frustrating to see Dame play for a full decade without another all-star teammate, and Tatum has already played with, what, 5?
Yeah, basically. The next one we hear a lot is he has an unappealing game, and I don't really get that a ton. Like, he doesn't have a ton of plays where he blows you away, like poster dunks. He did have that one on LeBron his rookie year, which was pretty incredible, but it's a lot of just mechanical, like sidestep 3, step back 3, and then you look up at the box score and he's got 40. He's not blowing your mind every possession down the court.
Yeah, he doesn't have a whole lot of highlight plays or whatever, but like, he's efficient. He can score from anywhere on the court. He can score at the rim. He can shoot. He can play defense. Like, I get it, but he does everything that you would want. And like, to the people who say he's boring, how different is he from like Kobe in 2008? Now, that's not to say he's better than Kobe, but in terms of like style of play, what, Kobe shot a little bit more from the mid-range, Tatum shoots a little more from 3. Other than that, how are they different?
I think it's just because Kobe had that dog.
Well, yeah, Kobe had that cool factor about him.
Yeah, he had that like underbite and everything, like biting the jersey. That was the Kobe thing. But yeah, play on the court, I completely get that point.
Fourth reason is the perceived protection from the media. Now, there's a lot of Boston people in sports media, and we've seen a lot of people bringing up, like, the Tatum PR in the past couple weeks. Tatum himself recently, he made a fuss about not being as high in the MVP rankings as he would like to be, and of course, the media leapt all over it. Also, he moved up NBA.com's official MVP ladder, despite a lot of people really thinking he didn't deserve it because of how well Luka's been playing. So, I get it, but I also think people tend to see, like, the sports media protecting certain players where they want to see see it, you know? Like, Tatum got crushed after the 2022 NBA Finals. Remember everyone clowning on how many turnovers he had?
Yeah, I really don't get this point. I feel like Tatum, if anything, kind of gets over criticized in the media. Like, since he's been in the playoffs every year of his career, they think about his failures. I mean, the dude's only 25. Well, he's about to be 26 once this video comes out. But compare that to other stars and what they were doing in the playoffs. Like, LeBron didn't have a ring at that age. Jordan didn't. Giannis didn't. So I don't get this argument at all. The media has gone after him when he's failed.
But finally, the fifth three is in, and I think this is where a decent amount of, maybe not hatred, but resentment kind of comes in, and that's because of Kobe Bryant. Now, this is not a criticism of Kobe at all, just want to be very clear, but it's very well known that Tatum idolized Kobe. I mean, he worked out with Kobe in the 2018 offseason. He very infamously texted Kobe's phone number before Game 7 of the 2022 Eastern Conference Finals saying, "I got you today." Look, far be it from either of us to tell someone how to either motivate themselves or even work through their grief. But to me, the fact that this was made public is really weird.
Yeah, this is just weird to me. I'm sorry. I don't know how well he knew Kobe, but that's weird as hell. And then he wore that armband, the 2-4 during that Game 7, which he did win, so maybe it helped, but it looks so weird to see that purple and gold on a player wearing a Celtics jersey. I don't know.
You're talking about it feeling weird to see him just with a purple and gold armband. How about when he straight up donned the purple and gold uniform to recreate Kobe's iconic game winner against the Miami Heat? He did this in 2021 for a TNT commercial, meaning that Jayson Tatum, the current star player for the Boston Celtics, donned a full Los Angeles Lakers uniform. Candidly, how did the Celtics let this happen?
I don't know. Funny as hell though. Love to see it, but I have no idea how the Celtics approved that.
Now, Kobe's fans have a certain reputation. Lest we forget, they defaced the LeBron murals in LA that were, intended to welcome him. Let's just say they're defensive. And I personally think there's some lingering resentment from Kobe fans who are looking at Tatum and they're thinking like, this guy is the next Kobe? Like, this is the guy who thinks he's the next Kobe? I mean, we've seen it from Jordan fans to LeBron. Like, this is the guy who thinks he's the next Jordan? I think it's kind of the same.
Plus, he plays for the Celtics, which doesn't help. Kobe fans historically aren't big Celtics fans, but I kind of get this. I'm kind of tired of players trying to act like Kobe or be the next Kobe, and maybe Tatum's not really trying to do that, but just let Kobe be his own thing. He might be your idol. We don't need the comparisons at all. It's just hurting players. It's not helping anybody.
Just me personally though, I think the hate is starting to loop to the point where Tatum is almost becoming underrated. Back to the Luka Tatum debate that we mentioned earlier, almost everyone said that Luka is better, which is fine. I think we both tend to agree with that, but the fact that people were so emphatic that, oh yeah, Luka's absolutely better, it's not even close. I think it's a little closer than people realize. Luka is the better offensive player, no doubt about it, but he needs a team built around him. He needs an entire offensive scheme built around him, and he needs defenders to cover for him. I mean, what's the Mavericks' biggest problem again this year? It's their defense. Tatum, on the other hand, I think he's a lot more like Kevin Durant. You can drop him on any team and he just instantly improves it.
And yeah, sure, Tatum has had these great supporting casts, but dude's been in the playoffs every year. 4 trips to the Eastern Conference Finals, a trip to the NBA Finals, went out that one time in the first round. So yeah, he's had a super stacked supporting cast, but the success has been there. Look at a guy like Luka. He goes from missing the playoffs, conference finals, first round exits. Tatum every single year has at least gotten it done to an extent.
And that's what I find so weird about the people who are saying, well, what has he done in the playoffs? First of all, who cares? The MVP is a regular season award. Second of all, what has Embiid done in the playoffs? What did Jokic done in the playoffs when he won his MVPs? What about Giannis? People who are saying, well, I need to see it from him in the playoffs. It's most of the recent MVPs had not done anything in the playoffs. And I would argue Tatum's done a hell of a lot more in the playoffs than Embiid had, than Jokic had, than even Giannis had at the time.
Yeah, he definitely has. It kind of gets back to that LeBron thing, losing in the first round is somehow better for your legacy than losing the finals. We've seen him make the playoffs every single year, so we've also seen him lose in the playoffs every single year, so you kind of just remember them losing and exiting. You don't remember the insane Game 7 he had last year, or Game 6 when he took it over, or Game 6 in Milwaukee when he took it over 2 years ago. We just kind of remember the flame outs and the exits.
So in conclusion, I think anyone who doesn't have Tatum near the MVP conversation this year is being wildly unfair. I right now think he's top 3. You mentioned before, yeah, he's got an excellent supporting cast, and he absolutely does. He has the best starting 5 in the league, no doubt. But really telling me Jokic doesn't have a good supporting cast? Shea doesn't have a good supporting cast? Giannis doesn't have a good supporting cast? And as to Luka, look, I get it. Luka's supporting cast is not anywhere near as good as the Celtics. It's just not. That is objective. That's fine. But I need people to stop acting like this is LeBron on the 2009 Cavs.
No, it's definitely not like that. And I would probably put him around top 3, maybe 4. I mean, Giannis is playing really good right now, but I would put him up there. And hey, maybe he doesn't need to win MVP for his legacy. Like Kawhi has never won that award, and Kawhi has a great legacy and can maybe even add on to it this year. So until he wins a championship, maybe he's not going to get that respect, but maybe he doesn't need it.
I was going to say, just to close it out, like, I feel like we've done a decent amount of Tatum protecting in this video. I think we're just trying to be fair to him, though. The flip side of that, he's got to do something this year.
Has to.
He has to, at the very least, make the NBA Finals this year, and he has to play well. If he plays well and they go down swinging to Denver or to... Let's just leave it at Denver. If they play Denver in the finals and he goes down swinging and he plays well, that's fine. If they bow out in the Eastern Conference Finals or like in the second round,
NBA Twitter would be out of control. Let's just say that.
That's the video, guys. What do you think of Jayson Tatum? I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, consider leaving it a like, as it really does help us out. And while you're here, why not check out some of our other videos as well? And don't forget to subscribe to Synthetic Sports.